Yeah, I know you said you wanted to talk Little League World Series, but did you see that play where that kid gave up that bomb, and then as the kid's rounding third base, the pitcher like runs over and like daps him up, like gives him a high five with
Oh,
his
really?
glove. And it's just like one of those things where it's like,
I
I,
would never fucking do that.
but it's like I get sportsmanship and like yeah, that's good, but at
That's
the
over
same
the
time,
top.
it's like
That's
have
over the
some
top.
competitive nature,
Yeah, that's over
you
the
know?
top.
I don't know. I've been hearing a lot of stuff about it where people are just like,
Dude, did you hear about Claremont's football team?
no, what
They
happened?
had to forfeit their first game.
Why? Not enough kids? Is that why? Ooh, that's tough.
They had, like, I think you have to have at least 18,
Yeah.
and they had like 20, and then 4 of them were ineligible.
How does it even happen? Like,
I have
how
no
do
idea.
you...
Like the first fucking week of the school year.
It will. I mean, yeah. How are you ineligible in the first week of the school year? But also,
How to get
how
that bad?
like how are there not enough kids that are gonna play? Like, want to
Dude,
play?
I don't even like reading the shit on there because it's like, oh, well, it's because of concussions and like the percent of football, like people playing football is down. It's like, you're right, it is, but it's still more than any other sport in high
Yeah.
school. Like it still has the most athletes in any sport.
It's just it's like hard for me to like grasp because like obviously I don't have kids
Yeah.
and I played football. I'm fine.
Safer to play football now than it used to be.
That's my other thing too. It's just like how are people still complaining and our parents legitimately being like, you're not playing football.
I think, I mean, and then other people are like, oh, it's because of the video game era and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm sure I think that has more to do with it than the concussion protocol
Yeah.
stuff. Like, there's not that many concussions that happen in high school sports. Not nearly as much as like college sports.
Yeah, or higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, is it sports across the board though? Like, is
No,
baseball down,
I don't know,
basketball,
maybe
like
a
those
little
kind of
bit.
things? You know what I mean?
don't
Like,
know. It's hard to
because then
say.
I would get the video
Baseball's tough to
game.
read because so many people are coming from out of the country now.
Yeah,
It's like always a tough read. Football's like the only true, like all American sport we have.
like in house. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
what you're
because like
saying.
hockey, you got Canada,
Mhm.
Russia,
Sweden,
Sweden, like all these
Yeah.
fucking places. The NF or NBA, like Spain, like other places.
You're getting a
in
lot of
Europe.
people in Europe. Yeah,
Yeah, baseball, Dominica, Cuba, fucking everywhere. But yeah, so I was shocked though. I was like kind of saddened too. The biggest thing is like they don't have any freaking like athletic support. They never have. Never have.
Yeah.
Like the only reason they got a new stadium is because it was a requirement by San Diego City School District. Like
Yeah, and they almost didn't get it because the neighborhood was like,
Yeah.
no lights.
yeah.
What the hell
He
are you doing,
scratched
Max?
his nails on a fucking.
I don't know what he's doing. Max is so weird.
That was a strange noise. But yeah, I was telling Leah, and she's like, "That's like super sad." And I saw it, and I was like, "Uh oh, flashback. First week of the season, they have to forfeit. Whose party was this time?" And then I was like, "Oh, that's not the same."
Not because we were having fun.
No, it was the first time I was in like the same
Because
the Union
we don't
Tribune.
have enough people. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that just sucks though, because then, like, you hope that it's just like a California thing, maybe like because they
like-
say people are soft out here, but
Yeah, but like 12% is
is it 12 overall?
12% like in football. It's not that much though. And it
Yeah.
hasn't gone down like 12% was last year.
Plus, the 12% are the ones that are catching footballs with their
that
face.
There's just a lot more options for sports now. Like here anyways. Like you have lacrosse,
Mm-hmm.
you have what is it called? Like rugby,
Oh yeah.
fucking badminton, tennis, shit like that. Like it doesn't have to just be football. Like a lot of people used to play football for like the stigma of playing football.
That's what I just like. When did that go away?
Yeah, that definitely went away. Like that.
That's just
went
so
away.
weird to me. It's like, don't you want to be a football?
See,
I don't know.
like it's so
That
funny.
might
'cause-
sound arrogant.
Yeah, these things come up, but like then you look at Madison, and it's like, well, that's why all the kids in Claremont, are going over there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they've won how many state championships? They've
Mhm.
stayed competitive. I mean, obviously they recruit and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
they
and
have the
they're-
athletic director that supports their athletic program. That's his job.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you remember Knuppel? Like, I mean, he's doing better than this guy's doing for sure, but
But yeah, even still, it wasn't like football was the focus. It
No.
was
and
any
football
other
brought
sport.
in more money than any sport,
It always
even
does.
when we sucked. Yeah.
It always does. But
Even-
yeah, that's just crazy though. Week
Even the
one,
worst football team in San Diego brings in more money than any other sport at that school.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. I don't know.
Bummed me out, man.
Yeah, that's a real bummer.
Yeah.
Like for a school to not have enough players to suit.
And like, I mean, not that I want to go back there and like be a part of like an alumni thing or anything, but it's like to know that like we'll never have that like opportunity if they continue this route.
That's what I mean.
Have a
like
football team anymore.
It'd be cool. I don't think I'd ever do it, but it'd be cool to be like, hey, we're doing a, senior football
or
reunion night or something.
Anniversary of something or other.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
It's like, oh yeah, we're inviting all the alumni. It's like, I mean, who knows what I would want to do in 30 years?
Yeah, maybe it'd be like, yeah, this is cool. That sucks though. That's
a bummer.
That's a bummer. All right, well, let's do this. We're
All
down. We're down Brandon, but we can get through it.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I talk a lot.
Boys, let's get to it.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Lights, camera, action.
What's up, everybody? We are the Three Amigos and a Podcast. Season 2, episode 12, I believe.
Yes, sir.
That's I don't know. It's just fun to see us just continue to roll.
Yeah,
you know. It was a shock this week. I got a email that our podcast renewed.
Oh yeah,
like our hosting service. I was like, it's been like because we didn't, you know what I mean? It was like we were deep in it, and then it was like, okay, we got to switch hosting service because we ran out of data.
Mm-hmm.
Where can we go? So it's officially been like a year on this platform, which is pretty crazy.
Because the other one was trying to charge us like 100 or something, or like
it was expensive.
Yeah,
it was like 150 or something like that. I was like, no thanks. And they had a cap on our data. Like we could release a podcast every day if we wanted to. We have no cap on our data. Shout out Podbean. Podbean is the way to go.
Yeah.
Hit us up, 3amigosandapodcast@gmail.com for that coupon code. That'll be our first plug.
There you go.
But how was your week, man?
Dude, it's been so chaotic. I started school on Monday, all online.
Yeah.
Got history, communications, critical thinking, and nutrition. I met my new district manager yesterday, and he was cool. Like, bummer. Like, literally, like a month after he got hired, he got diagnosed with lymphoma. So, like, he had his first chemo session on Monday.
That's tough.
So he was a little like frazzled, but he was awesome. He was a cool guy. Like, every time, like, new management, like, a bunch of change. Like, this morning, it was just, like, I feel like I never stopped moving.
Oh, yeah. And especially when your district manager comes, you gotta look busy.
Yeah.
Like, there's no...
And, like, he was just so direct with everything. Like, him and my boss went into the back for, I'd say, like, about an hour and a half or so. And then he came back out. And, like, I thought he'd kind of ease into it a little bit.
You're fine.
Oh, I thought he'd ease into it a little bit. And he was like, so tell me about yourself. And I was like, what you mean tell me about my, like, hi, I'm such and such?
Yeah, I'm so-and-so.
Yeah, like, no, none of that.
Jesus, like, what do they even bark at? Like, what are you guys even barking at?
Drop of a pin.
Yeah, you just bark for the attention?
Ava.
But yeah, so, met your district manager.
Yeah.
He was just kind of like, not like a second interview, but just kind of like a follow-up type of thing.
But then literally right after... Like, so we had a customer come in as he was asking me these questions, and then he was like, so what did you do well in that sale? And I was like, I mean, I sold all private brand. I sold more than 3 items. I did a lot of things well. I had good customer engagement. And then he was like, well, what could you improve upon? I was like, I don't know. You tell me.
Right?
Yeah, I was like, you're clearly going somewhere with this. But, like, it was good feedback. Like,
what are your greatest weaknesses?
Yeah,
I care too much.
It felt like
I try too hard.
Very much like that. And I was like, in my head, I'm kind of like, I am a huge fan of, somebody, like, explaining in depth, like, how you can better yourself, better your workspace and things like that.
Yeah,
so
like,
it didn't bother me, but I was just
it's
the last several managers I've had are so like one-off that they're never that direct. So I was very, very brought off guard.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting right into this. All right, let's go.
The only way, I don't know, when you said it, the way I took it was more or less like he saw you, sell all this good product and do all these things right, that it was like, how am I going to spread this to other people?
Yeah.
Like, you did it perfect. How do I tell other people this? So what do you think is...
Yeah, and his only feedback for me, like, made perfect sense. He was like, like the only thing is like and this is from any sales spot. He's like, because he's like, you know more than me about all this stuff. He's like, I'm talking to you from like a pure sales standpoint. You need to slow down. I was like, all right, like, can you elaborate on that for me? And he's like, yeah, if you show somebody something, like, ask them a few questions on the way over there. Don't just get the product for them. Because my whole thing is like, I just pick the product up, put it in their hand. If they want to grab something else, then they got to put the other one back. Yeah. But I was like, all right. And so the next time a customer came in, I was like, I slowed everything down. He's like, all right, so what'd you do good that time? I was like, I definitely went slow. I was like, it definitely went slow.
Definitely took it slow.
Yeah. So it was good, but like, how meeting new managers and stuff, it just takes a toll on your just everything, man. It was
you're just trying to be perfect the whole time.
And my boss is super like he wears his emotions like not really on his sleeve, but like I could just tell when he's like very thrown off.
Yeah.
So he like comes out and he's like breathing all heavy, like, okay, we're gonna get through this. But other than that, it's been a good week.
That's good, man.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, week has been good. Had a busy week, doing a lot of stuff on the house. First week without Sarah, so it was kind of like
it was her birthday too.
Yeah, her birthday was Wednesday, so that was fun. Her aunt took her out.
That's
she
cool.
Had this fancy, I don't know, it was like a fancy margarita with Grand Marnier in it and all this stuff. I was like, good for you.
Nice.
Nice.
The big
2'8".
Yes.
Yeah.
I always forget.
Yeah,
she's 6 months older than us.
She's an old lady
6
now.
months older than me. Yes.
Yeah.
6 months. So, yeah.
She's an old lady now. That's all I know.
She's really not that much older than me. It trips me out.
Not. No.
I always think she's like at least a year older than me. She's only like, we're both 92. We're all 92.
No, she's 91.
Oh, you're right. 2018. I can't even remember how old I am anymore.
Yeah. We're only 27.
I know. I keep thinking I'm 28. I'm like, fuck, what happened? 27.
Yeah. I mean, we're basically just 30 now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
fine.
Like, who cares anymore?
I already got the gray hairs coming in.
Do you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they're like the salt and pepper.
I don't know if maybe just because I have red hair, like I can't really see it. Sarah found one.
You can't tell as often because I put gel in my hair and that like glosses everything over. Yeah. But when it's like all natural, you can see it.
You can see a few.
Especially when my hair gets longer.
Are they like long too?
I've pulled out a couple long ones. Like, son of a bitch.
Damn. You need that just for men.
I know, right? Like Shaylee's already told me, like, you're gonna dye that, right? I'm like, I feel like that wasn't a question.
Does she want you to dye it?
Just like not dye it. Like she doesn't want me to dye my hair, but she wants me to like add some color into it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's fine.
I don't know. I feel like I'm going like when I go gray, I'm going full silver fox because my hair's so thick.
If it happens next year, like I'm not at 28.
You think in a year your hair is gonna go full gray?
Not full gray, but you're definitely gonna start to see some Enrique in there. Like no offense, that's sneaky, but mine's coming soon too.
Oh man, well yeah. Shout out Enrique too. His birthday's coming up. Yep. That's why we're minus Brandon tonight. They're at dinner. So yeah, I mean shout out Enrique.
Happy
Keep
birthday.
It up for another year.
Oh yeah.
I feel like he, like mentally he thinks of himself as he gets older. He's like going back years. I know, like back when we were kids, like 21, and he was like 25. Yeah. He was like, oh, I'm super old, blah blah. And now that I think he's like, I don't know, 30 maybe.
Well, he's nice.
31.
Brandon's 29.
So maybe he's like 32. Maybe I don't know.
I think so.
So now that he's like 32, he's like, nah, man, I got so much energy. I can do whatever.
Right?
It's like, dude, you're old now.
Yeah, you're
an old man. But yeah, week was good. I watched the entire series of The Boys.
Did you like it?
I loved it, dude. Yeah. It was honestly one of like my favorite shows.
I'll have to give it a shot. It's a Netflix. No,
it's an Amazon show. Yeah, basically, it's like if superheroes were in society.
Yeah.
Not how Marvel portrays them as like
like
we're holier than thou, like we're got a level head. Yeah, they're real people. Like there's one scene the guy's like invisible, and he goes, "Man, we gotta arrest these motherfuckers that are bootlegging my latest movie. They cost me like $1.2 million. These assholes are stealing all my money." And it's like, come on, man! Like you're a superhero. You're not supposed to be like that.
Yeah, right.
So
kind of like what was that one with Will Smith in it? What's with the H?
I don't know.
Think.
Oh, the one where he was like this drunk superhero? Yeah, I remember that one.
What it was called.
I can't remember. Hitchcock?
Hitchcock, yeah, that's the one.
I was thinking Hitch, and I was like, no, that's too
close. Different movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it was good. I definitely recommend it if you got a chance.
Yeah, I've been like on an NCIS binge lately. I don't know. Like, I could not tell you why.
What's NCIS stand for?
Navy Criminal Investigation Service. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
I know it's Navy Criminal Investigation something.
Is it like CIS where they put?
Yeah, CSI. I mean,
or
yeah.
CSI? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I've never seen any of those shows. Those aren't really my bag. I don't know. I don't really like those shows.
Dude,
but
like growing up, I never liked them. My dad used to watch them all the time. Navy Criminal Investigation Service. Yeah.
plus, I mean, like, dude, it's got to be weird to watch because they're filmed in like a soap opera type fashion and they're old.
This one's like been the NCIS, the original one, has been around since 2003, but they're still filming. Like they're on season like.
Oh, they're still
16
doing
right
it
now. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So like it's improved a lot.
Okay.
But they're
Yeah.
like, I think the reason I like, and I told you like I like the show like How to Get Away with Murder. So this kind of like is filling that void.
Okay.
It's that like what happens at the beginning and what like trying to figure it out, and then like it was this person. And so like I like either when I get it right, or I like when they fool me, because like the shows are like kind of easier to predict.
Yeah.
And like
You're
today,
it's that guy.
I was watching one when I was studying, and I got one wrong, and I was like, ooh, okay,
Okay.
I see you, NCIS.
All right.
All right.
All right, Dick Wolf. Here we go.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was kind of a like how like they introduce a couple characters. There's like the prime suspect, the potential suspect, the victim, and that's kind of like you have to wrap your head around it.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, like they introduced the prime suspect, they introduced the secondary suspect, the victim was the dad who died, and then at the very end, like the mom was never in the picture, and the mom was the one that did it. And I was like, all right, I mean, like technically, I didn't get that one wrong. You never showed her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You came out of left field with
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Like,
So I was like, all right, I feel you. I mean,
That's
you
gotta-
brought her up a
yeah.
couple times, and I kind of just forgot.
that's got to be a writer's room thing of like, all right, guys, we're getting too redundant. Let's throw in a curveball.
Dude, I actually like going back. Like, if you ever look at some of your favorite episodes, like New Girl, or like just whatever show you like to watch, and look at like who produced or like who wrote that episode, like How I Met Your Mother is another one. It's really funny to look at like where some of the comic value is when some of the characters, because sometimes they're the ones that are writing the scripts.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do that with like NCIS too. Like, all right, who did this one?
Yeah, I do that a lot with The Office, and like
Yeah.
the funniest episodes are always the one written by Mindy Kaling.
Yeah.
Like she's an amazing writer.
Yeah, phenomenal.
And I didn't even know that she was a writer at first, but
Part of the last homework assignment that I just did was I can't remember what his name is. He's in so many different things. He was the gay guy in I Love You Man, something Lennon.
oh, the guy from Reno 911
Yeah.
too? Okay, yeah.
So I had no idea that he was a writer.
I didn't either.
He wrote Reno 911.
Oh, I didn't even
He
know
wrote
that.
all of it.
I love that
He
show
wrote
too.
all
That's
the like
hilarious.
Night at the Museums and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah, like him and his like partner, like not partner, like he's not his.
I know
his
what you mean.
Work associate.
Yeah, his writing partner.
Yeah, they've written so many different pieces like throughout like everything.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It-
But like a bunch of his crap, I'm like, damn, that was really funny. This guy's got a good.
This guy's good sense of humor.
yeah, super successful. I had no idea.
Dude, it's always those.
I just thought he
sneaky
was like a
guys.
small time character in a bunch of these things, but like it's because he's written a lot of those
Yeah.
stories and then he just puts himself in it.
Well, you know Mose from The Office?
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
the head writer.
It's
It's like
yeah,
what?
super funny.
or like director or something like
I
that.
think
Like,
there's
it's like,
only
what?
like 9 people that actually like write and like write exclusively and act.
Yeah.
And that guy was one of them too.
I know. That's hilarious.
Super funny.
Well, all right, man. Let's get into some sports stuff.
We are what they thought. No, I said that wrong. What's that Herm Edwards
They
quote?
are what they.
We are what we thought they were.
They are what we thought they were.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. They are what we thought they were.
Which is a sports podcast, so we'll get into that now.
Yeah. Which is sad that we couldn't remember what the saying was.
I hear it so often too, and I'm like,
It's
just
just
that Herm
funny to-
Edwards one when he's all pissed off.
Yeah. They are who we thought they were. But yeah, so
That
you know,
wasn't Herm Edwards. Herm Edwards was, we play to win the game.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember who the other one was.
Who said that one?
I don't remember.
Oh, Dennis Green.
Yeah,
Cardinals.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. Okay, I was like, dude, that's gonna piss me off. That's definitely not Herm Edwards. All
But
right, my
Herm
bad.
Edwards does have that one.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
and he's all hyped up and whatnot.
The other
That's
one, what's the other guy from Oklahoma State? Gundy, or the guy with the mullet. He has that really famous one too, where he freaks out on all the reporters, where he's like yelling at them about his, like, I'm a man, yell at me, or like, come at me.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Dude, that one, you have to look that up. It's so great.
That's funny.
And it was years ago, and he's still the head coach for Oklahoma State.
That dude.
He's like one of the longest tenured coach in NCAA. Yeah, it's incredible. He's like, I'm a man. Like, they're a boy, or like whatever. Like, they're kids.
They're kids. You come to me, I'm a man.
Yeah, super funny.
Yeah, I forget who it was on the Red Sox. Shit, I wish I could remember his name. But he got interviewed, and he got all like philosophic and shit, and he was like, well, every day's opening day. I'm like, no, it's not. How do you know? By your record. That doesn't mean anything.
Oh my
Like,
God.
what? And he goes, well, if the past are your thoughts, and only you know your thoughts, in the future, nobody can predict the future, and they're only today, then today's opening day. It's like, all right, man. Whatever.
I guess that's an interesting mindset to have. Every day is a new
whatever
beginning.
whatever you gotta say to make yourself feel better as the tanking Red Sox, the world champions, and now look at yourselves. You know,
for real.
It's like that's
Yeah, they are not who I thought they were going to be.
No, I don't think anybody saw this kind of year happening for them.
No, it's not great.
It's not pretty, and I mean, I don't know. I know we kind of want to do a wild card prediction. I do not see them making the wild card.
Dude,
I feel like
no. They're
it's a long shot.
6.5 games out of the wild card, not just out of the first place. Well, Cleveland's up a half a game over the A's, who are tied technically with the Tampa Bay Rays, and they're 6.5 games back. That's insane.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that the Red Sox need to shore up this offseason. And that's not a team that I worry about going forward as far as like being in contention the following season. But when you look at like their roster and what they've struggled with, you see the Yankees, who have dealt with so much adversity this year, from Giancarlo Stanton to Aaron Judge to Troy Tulowitzki.
To double-digit injuries.
Yeah, they have one. I think like in the first two weeks of the season, they had 10 players on the injured list, and like they're still killing it.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at like the Red Sox, and it's like Chris Sale, Eovaldi, Rick Porcello, Eduardo Rodriguez, and they still have David Price, who hasn't. He's played this year. If he'd been on the injured list, I know that.
I know.
For sure.
Yeah, I know he's been on the injured list for a while, and unfortunately, Chris Sale also now on the injured list.
Struggling, dude. Like, even like
Wouldn't
probably the best thing for him.
Yeah, I mean, luckily he doesn't have to have Tommy John.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's just like, you know what I mean? It's almost one of those things where they say like it's better to break it than sprain it. In this case, that might be the deal.
I honestly
it's
think
like
that's something they should have looked into a long time ago, because he wasn't himself all year.
No,
and that's a player that's been, I mean, not favorite necessarily for the Cy Young, but he's been in the conversation every year. He's been like, with the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
But you look up and down their lineup, and it's like they got Mitch Moreland at first base, they got Marco Hernandez at second place. They have like Devers, Bogarts, Benintendi, Bradley, Betts, Martinez. Like the rest of their lineup is stacked.
Yeah.
So I feel like you have to look internally at like why this problem is continuing to occur, because they got off to that slow start, and even Brandon was like, they'll turn it around. And
I was on the same page too. I thought they were too.
And it's not because of their lineup; it's because that starting rotation has just been terrible all year. And the one thing Tampa Bay has over them is they have a phenomenal starting rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Every time they bring a new person up, I mean, I kind of call them the minor league team for the rest of the Major League Baseball, because they can never pay their players. But when they get these dudes up, they perform.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, too, is like, I feel like the Yankees have been doing it for the past 2 seasons, is they're building for this. The Padres have been doing it for a while. Obviously, it's taking them a lot slower.
Yeah.
But the Rays have been doing it, too. You look at them last season, it's like they weren't, like, yes, they were bad and they were towards the bottom, but they had a lot of things going for them.
For sure.
The one thing that they needed to fix was to, accumulate a starting rotation. Because last year they did a lot, like, by bullpen or whatever.
Yeah.
They traded Chris Archer, did all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When they
Blake
finally
Snell,
put that
was the only person in that. Like,
yeah.
Then he won the Cy Young.
No, he was in the argument.
Yeah.
I think he was, like, runner-up.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like, once they like got Chris Archer away, they got some pieces, like they came up with a starting rotation. That's what they needed. That's the answer.
And it's not like,
yeah.
I mean, you look at their starting rotation: Blake Snell, Charlie Morton, Austin Pruitt, Yanni Chirinos, Ryan Stanton. Like, it's not a bunch of big name guys, but they're getting the job done. I mean, I've always had respect for the Rays. I mean, they do it right.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel bad in this case for Alex Cora.
Yeah.
Because it's like, was it really you that got him there? Or was that a fluke? And is this what we have to come? You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. It's tough. I mean, I don't like to see like
it's
this
tough to
much
win out in your first year.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
For sure.
Like,
but it's the Red Sox. They'll turn it around.
Yeah, they've always turned it around.
Yeah.
They need to pay
Mookie Betts.
Yeah. I almost said Francisco Lindor because I was looking at the Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens in that race. Well, let's stick with the Padres. Padres bullpen continues to struggle. You know, it's just one of those things that there hasn't been an answer for. I read an article and it had this stat in it. So the Padres have only had 4 bullpen days all season. Basically means they don't have a starter, or the starter goes, you know, less than a full inning, and they have to go to the bullpen. In those 4 games, they've lost all 4 and given up 26 runs.
Oh my god!
It's like that's
I mean, it's
there's no answer for that, and there's no rhyme or reason for that. It's just
No.
basically like they suck. They can't get the job done.
And it's not like our starting pitching has been atrocious. Brandon has said it several times, like they can't go deep into games, which is, I mean, it's fine. But you look at like the bulk of our bullpen, and you know, outside of Kirby Yates, you don't see anybody that is really truly dominated any part of the game whatsoever. I mean, I'm looking at ERAs here. The only one that's done well this year, technically, would be Luis Perdomo.
And
then Quantrill when he's coming out of the bullpen.
But the thing with those two guys is there were starters that moved to the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like they're just, all of our guys are more or less relievers.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with them not going deep if we have the backup for it.
No, I totally agree. I mean, when you look at it too, I mean, Robert Stock, that's another dud. Bill Madden, 7.77. He should play in Vegas. Those are good numbers for Vegas, not for an ERA.
Bing, bing, bing.
Brad Wick, we got rid of him. Strom, terrible. Like, a 5.11 ERA for somebody out of the bullpen, like, I get it. You don't get as many innings pitched, but that means you're giving up runs every single time you're pitching.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch. I mean, I will give some credit to some of the younger players that we brought up. Michel Baez, he's done well. Munoz, I can't remember what his first name is. Andres Munoz, he's got 14 innings pitched, ERA of 1.78. So, I mean,
and that's only as of late. It's like that's only because he had one bad outing.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, this guy was
done well.
He had under 1 ERA.
Yeah,
but also that guy's magic.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know who Andres Munoz is, you need to, because that guy, if they can lock him in,
dude, he's gonna be
that guy's gonna be a stud.
That dude pumps in, like, every time I watch him, he's throwing 101 miles an hour.
Dude, he has like the third in his first start. He was in the top 3 of fastest average velocity. Like,
yeah,
which is ridiculous. It's like,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little sad when you look at like our best ERAs that we have, and outside of Aaron Loop and Jose Castillo, obviously this is not accounting for like innings pitched. We have Ty France and Ian Kinsler on the top of that list.
That's so.
Both of them pitched an inning. Both of them didn't give up any runs.
Ty France pitched?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I missed that game.
Yeah, he gave up a hit.
That's funny. That's funny.
Kinsler walked 2 people, but he didn't strike anybody out. So no runs. I mean,
well, he hit a batter or something.
It's an issue. That's something they definitely need to shore up, like in the off season, because, you know, sure, Michel Baez, Munoz, Perdomo, like those are 3 guys that we can use going forward. But like the Stroms, I'm
the Wingenders,
like
the Erlins, like
Wingender. I mean, it's his first like full year up. I'm willing to like give him another like short leash next year, but like it's, it's not working. It's
No.
not working at all. They, I mean, they're not playing bad offensively. They don't rank towards the bottom of much batting categories. So the fact that their pitching is that atrocious means that they need to fix it out of house.
Mm-hmm.
They need to start looking at, pieces they can trade, like prospects that are willing to give up to, shore up the bullpen. Because if they can shore up the bullpen in a division as stacked as the NL West, they can compete.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not losing games by, 10, 11 runs or, 5, 6 runs. They're losing games by 2 or 3 late.
A small margin,
Yeah.
late, and that's
Late.
the important part is late.
It's not.
We have the lead early, and then the bullpen.
Or we're down by 1 run going into the 5th inning, 6th inning, and then, we lose by 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you that it's something that needs to be addressed in the offseason and going forward, and especially now, like you see the Giants starting to taper off. The Diamondbacks, they don't really have much anymore either as far as
the
like
Giants are just gonna keep
bullpen
getting worse.
goes. The Rockies are the Rockies. They're going to stay where they are, and the Dodgers obviously are on a terror.
Yeah, and the
So-
Dodgers have so many like Lutz. I think that's another one of their prospects that's coming up. Play shortstop.
Yeah.
Like they have so much depth. It's insane. Every time I said a few podcasts ago, every time they call up a freaking prospect, he ends up hitting a home run.
So, yeah.
Like, where the hell can we get that luck from?
Yeah, how do you guys keep getting that guy? Like, our luck has been you bring up a starter and he has a lights out game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
One.
that's one, and that's it. He's one and done. But
Thank you, Logan Allen.
I definitely think though that this is the time to become a Padres fan because
They're gonna be good next year.
tide's turning,
and
especially the National League. It's like competition starting to wear thin.
I can see it, man. With the surge of Fernando Tatis, and obviously, I mean, I wasn't expecting Manny Machado to have a big year this year. I really wasn't. He came in far too late. It's hard to come in late to a team and, put up like lights out numbers. You saw the same thing with Eric Hosmer last year. So everybody that's been like, talking crap about Manny, just wait. The dude is still young. We have him for the next 9 years after this. So like you're gonna see plenty of him, and he's gonna be a star. To the Francisco Mejias, the Luis Urias. I mean, both those dudes have been producing as of late. You're seeing strides of what we've kind of expected to see from them, and what everybody else wanted to see from them. And outside of that, I mean, Hunter Renfroe, we got to keep him.
Yes.
That's a luxury that I really didn't think that we were gonna have going forward.
Or a foresight that I saw that the Padres were going to,
Taylor
exercise.
Trammell is another guy that I can see coming up next year. There's so much to look forward to that's close. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Mackenzie Gore is playing the majority of next year.
Yeah.
And those are pieces. Garrett Richards. Keep forgetting about Garrett Richards. I know he had a setback with his Tommy John recovery, but he'll be back next year. They're going to be better. They just need to figure out the bullpen.
Yeah.
Everything else is set. Margot is a reputable center fielder. Even if you don't make any moves, even if it's, Trammell out there or whatever it is next year, it's not a hole. There can be improvements, but it's not a hole.
Yeah, I agree. And at this point, it's like the outfield and the batting average that we used to, loathe in the past, that's changing. And now I don't feel like we have that issue where it's like we need somebody to bring up our team average. We have that. Now we need to eliminate the runs against.
Yeah. And to me, looking at our lineup going forward, we don't have any true holes in our lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, there's improvements that you can make across the board. I'd love to see more from Will Myers. I'd love to see more from Margot. Urias, obviously, who's been playing well as of late, but, started off very slow. Hedges is another guy, if he can turn it around. I mean, maybe it breeds a little bit of competition between him and Mejia. There's definite, improvements to make, but there's no true hole. What Hedges lacks in his bat, he makes up way more in his glove. And we've been preaching that, since we started this damn podcast. I mean, the dude, he makes our pitchers better. He makes, the defense run smoothly. So there's no, daring need that I see except bullpen. That is the one thing they for sure need to go after.
Yeah, definitely. And then, Tatis had that what was it? Was it his hamstring again, or what was
It was
the
lower
injury?
back.
Lower back.
Lower back, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, shutting him down for the year, I think that's beneficial. I know it kind of sucks. We thought maybe he'd make an MVP, rookie of the year run. But at the same time, it's like that piece of hardware isn't worth further injury.
Absolutely.
So,
and I'm just tired of listening to the conversation about, is he a injury plagued player? Do we need to worry about him constantly being on the injured list? It's like, you look at a player like Pete Alonso, he's 24 years old and he's a rookie. Fernando Tatis is 20 years old.
Yeah.
And we talked about it last week. He's never played a full season of baseball. And when he has...
Nowhere close this amount of games.
It's either in a different country, or last year when he was playing in minor leagues, obviously he didn't finish out the year there. But he's young. You know, injuries are going to happen. Athletes need to figure out how to adapt to major league sports. And that's why you pay personal trainers and things like that.
I don't think that this is even like a season-ending injury. I think this is more or less like, hey, my back's kind of hurting multiple days in a row, and it's like, hey, man, you're our future. Let's just shut you down.
And
what's the
get
point?
Some players some other looks.
Exactly.
Like I honestly,
let's see if Greg Garcia or if Ty France can give us a trade piece value.
Yeah.
If they can be a good.
Let's go plug Ty France over at second base for a game and see what happens.
Exactly.
Hey, let's go put Mejia in left field now that we can free up some other players. I mean, there's definitely a huge upside in him. I mean, obviously massive downside, but huge upside in him not playing the rest of the year.
Especially the kind of season we're having where it's like, I can live with this.
Yeah.
Where, at this point, it's growth. It's nothing but beneficial. And I would hate to see them push him and impact him negatively.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you look at our season that we're having, as far as, pitching and what we're seeing from our starting rotation, like, we weren't going to have Chris Paddock for a full season.
No.
That was already stated before the season started, but he still proved to be our best starting pitcher that we have right now. If you look at what he's brought to the table, what Joey Lucchese's brought to the table. I mean, obviously the ERA is still pretty inflated, but Cal Quantrill, people like that, like there's improvements that we're seeing across the board, and you have to kind of see what the team looks with and without Fernando Tatis. Not because he's not going to be there, but you have to see what the pieces look like around him as well.
Yeah.
And Urias getting some reps at shortstop, that's not a bad thing either.
No. And he's going to need a rest day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the biggest thing and the biggest challenge I like about this is it's challenging Andy Green to show that without Tatis at the number one slot, that you can still find a suitable person to lead off the order and maybe not win ball games, but at least be challenging, be competitive in ball games.
I know we lost that series against the Reds, but I mean, if you look at it, the Reds aren't a bad ball club either. They sit right around where we do, and they out hit us.
Yeah,
simple as that. And I'm okay losing a series 2-1, getting out hit. Pitching didn't kill it. I mean, it wasn't great, but pitching didn't kill us. I think timely pitching is probably the biggest issue that we have.
Yeah.
And like you said, Andy Green needs to figure out who he has and what he can utilize.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
show that you're an actual...
Show that you can manage
exactly.
Yeah, show that you can manage this team, because as of like what I've seen, hasn't been too good.
No. And it's literally just been like... I feel like he has a little bit of talent, and it's turned into laziness. The scorecard is the same every single game. We're keeping the same lineup. It's like, let's see. It's not the answer. It's not the fix. Get it locked in first. And I think this forces his hand to move people around.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, I've been talking about it for probably since the first month of the season. But Manny Machado has not batted second once this year.
No.
Hasn't batted second once.
And that's like... career-wise, that's where he hits the best.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, we're 100 and what?
100-something.
120-something games into the season, and we haven't seen any switch in Manny Machado's place in the lineup.
Yeah. That right there is an error on your part.
Yeah, so...
And that's the laziness, because he was going Tatis 1, Machado at 3... Just keeping it there and keeping him.
Eric Hosmer, who leads our team in RBIs, and they keep fluctuating where he bats, and it's like
anywhere from 4 to 6 or whatever, and it's like,
why he leads our team in RBIs?
Yeah,
what? Renfroe leads our team in home runs. Why do you have him batting 7th? Why do you have him batting 6th?
Yeah.
Don't tell me it's for matchups. Like,
yeah, don't tell me like, well, now with analytics, you want your best batters hitting in the top or in the first order, blah blah blah. Well, if that's the case, why don't you front load our lineup then?
Yeah. Think about it this way. If you look at, on base percentage, one number we've been preaching all year. Manny Machado leads our team in on base percentage, but you have him batting 3rd.
Yeah.
If there's 2 outs in an inning, and he gets on first base, what does that do if the person behind him doesn't, have a high OPS?
Yeah.
Eric Hosmer leads our team in hits. What does it do having him bat 6th and 7th? Nothing.
Yeah.
It was nothing.
Yeah. So I think this is a good challenge for Andy Green to figure out how he's going to manage this lineup throughout the rest of the season.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of how the season's going to end out, because we're in the last kind of stretch of baseball, what Padre do you think has the most to prove through the end of the season?
Well, Andy Green won. I mean,
yeah.
Outside of the manager.
Yeah.
Outside of the manager. I mean, I personally think it's Manuel Margot. I think that Luis Urias is definitely our second baseman going forward, not just because of how he's been playing lately, but because, we don't have much behind him. I think with the acquisition of Taylor Trammell, it's going to kind of put a little. I mean, Will Myers is going to play left field. Hunter Renfroe is going to play right field next year, unless there's a trade that we don't see happening. Myers in left, Renfroe in right. Center field is going to be up for grabs. So Margot, to me, has a lot to prove as far as can he get on base, can he score runs. It's not about his batting average. It's not about if he can drive in runs. It's about can you get on base.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing that they need.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to prove to be, one of the bigger competitions that we're going to see going into next year because Taylor Trammell can get on base. Batting average might be low, but he has the ability to draw walks, and he has the ability to use his speed, especially from the left-hand side of the plate, to get on base.
Yeah.
The other person, just because I can't really pick on one, Austin Hedges. I mean,
that's a good one, yeah.
At this point, I feel like we've seen what we're going to see from him from the bat or from the offensive side. We know who he is defensively. I mean, until Yonder Alonso retires, he is the best catcher in baseball. So we know what we have with him on offense and defensive side. If he can improve at all, but I think that one's a little too far lost. I think Margot is probably the better decision.
Okay. I mean, those are all great picks. I agree with you with Austin Hedges that he has a lot to prove. Just because I felt like this year he kind of tried to take a leadership role and be like, well, I'm part of the clubhouse, so that's another thing I add to this ball club.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like we have that veteran leadership in Hosmer, in Machado. We have young leadership in Tatis. It's like we don't really need another person.
Just because you've been here the longest doesn't make you
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like we don't kind of need that, so you're not woven into the fabric yet.
Yeah.
The person I think that needs to prove through the rest of the season is going to be Will Myers. I think
I could have easily picked Will.
Yeah. Just from the fact of he's getting paid $20 million a year. He struggled early. They kind of gave him the month off. He came back. He's hitting a lot better. He's like, I think he's hitting like 260 in the month of August. So, it's kind of he's bringing his numbers are starting to come around, but still, Will Myers with how much?
One.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? This is a guy that was in the home run derby when the All-Star game was in San Diego. Obviously, we didn't have a lot of sluggers. I'm not saying that it's like he is a home run heavy guy, but at the same time, that's kind of what he built off of, or that's what he's kind of tailoring his swing to is for the long ball. And I think that he needs to make those numbers turn around.
Yeah. His
OPS or OPBS, whatever it is, I know it's not positive. You know what I mean? It's probably, I think he's hitting like a 700, something like that.
OPS is 714. On base percentage is 316. It's not great.
Those aren't great numbers. So I think he has the most to prove, and I think this is twofold. I think it's like a double-edged sword for us. If he does good, then that also offers him up to trade bait. But if he does good and he shows his worth, that answers a question that we have of our outfield.
No, absolutely. And I mean, there's pieces out there that we can start to utilize. I mean, you've kind of noticed it. Josh Naylor being put out in the outfield. He's still more of a natural first baseman, but he has the ability to go out there and play in the outfield. Renfroe is probably at this point the only person that I'm going to say for sure is going to be in the starting lineup come opening day, April next year. Like I said, Margot up in the air, depending on Tramel's development, and then Will Myers, depending on what they want to do with him. I mean, if I'm the Padres organization, what I've seen from him this past year, what I've seen with him the last couple years, is that it's time to move on. And I know that we said after that Franmil Reyes trade that it opened up for him to have the ability to come in and play. But even at that, it's like you've seen Mejia out in left field. I would much rather have Mejia out there in the hedges behind the plate. I'd give up the 185 batting average to have Mejia play left field.
Yeah.
It gives you a switch hitting player that can go out there and get,
They
hit the
can,
ball.
yeah.
And
not only hit home, not even hit the ball, but generate runs.
yeah. So, I mean, I'm not saying that that's what I want the starting lineups to look like next year, but there's so many options that the Padres have to utilize that, Will Myers has become an unnecessary entity to this team. And if anybody's willing to eat some of that contract, I mean, you have to start to listen to that conversation.
Yeah.
You have to. And, the overall, place of this lineup and this team is not moving in Will Myers' direction. This is Machado, Hosmer, and Tatis' team. It's Yates' team. It's Paddock's team.
Yeah.
Those are guys that have gone out there and earned that this year.
Yeah, and I hear people, when they're saying like, well, you guys paid Myers, you did all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. I get that, but at the time, we had to spend the money, and he was the one that was deserving of it.
Yeah, we had nobody else.
Yeah.
And
I think it's hard now because, with Jankowski back too, that's a guy that can cover a lot of ground and hits for average. You know what I mean? So it's hard. It's hard
I said it a few weeks ago. Trading Franmil Reyes, we got rid of some power.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at some of the power that we're generating in this lineup. We haven't been missing out on a lot more home runs. We've gone like a couple more games without hitting home runs, but Machado, Hosmer's been hitting for power. Tatis hits for power. Urias hits for power. Mejia hits for power. Myers, like, if you can't hit the ball over the fence at least 30 times a year, we don't need you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because you're not a player that's going to get on base a lot. You're not a player that's going to draw a ton of walks. You're not a player that's going to, have timely hits that are going to, drive in runs. So, I mean, you're seeing some of these other younger players come up, and it's kind of drawn away from, okay, well, we need that power bat in our lineup because that's what Will Myers brought. It's not there anymore. We don't need it.
Yeah.
We have it in our lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with everything you're saying. It just, it's tough. It's tough to see him just take up a roster spot.
Yeah.
But I definitely, I think that he has a lot to prove, and it's either it's make it or break it. It's either
all September.
Yeah.
Show us why
we're paying you.
Yeah,
show us why you're worthy to stay on this team. And I have no problem with him showing us and keeping him.
Yeah.
I have no problem with us moving on and him doing good. It's just like, just come up with an answer because I'm tired of the headache.
Figure it out or play for another team. That's exactly where I'm at. Is because I want Will Myers to succeed. I know we've trashed him, basically this entire year, but I want Will Myers to succeed. We are a better ball club when Will Myers plays well.
Yeah.
If Will Myers is going to be the same Will Myers has been this year, I mean, gotta move on.
Yeah.
Gotta move on.
Gotta. Well, Brandon's not here, and we're coming close to postseason baseball, so we'd like to do some kind of predictions. We'll hold off on doing the entire postseason for next week so that we can get Brandon's input. Let's do wild cards right now.
For sure.
So, obviously in the American League, we have the Astros, Yankees, and Twins already kind of solidifying their number one spot in their divisions respectively and their playoff role or their playoff position. In the wild card, though, we kind of have some questions.
Definitely have some questions. I mean, it's a tight race with the top three teams. Obviously, you have the Red Sox 6.5 games back. I don't see them going on a week-long tear in order to catch up. Or there's 5.5 weeks left in the season. I'm liking the Rays and the Indians. If it's not the Indians, then it's the Twins.
Mm-hmm.
But whoever's coming out of the AL Central at that point, I would give the nod to, and I'm gonna say the Rays. Oakland, they just play in a really tough division. I mean, I would love nothing more, for Oakland to get another opportunity at this. But I've been impressed with what I've seen from the Rays all year, and having to play Houston, having to play the Angels, who are still a good ball club, Seattle, who can put up runs. I feel like a lot thinner margin of error for the A's than there is for the Rays. Didn't realize that would rhyme.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you on that. I do feel bad for Oakland because they're having a great season, but like you said, it's a tough division to have to face those 4 teams, especially in the back half of the year, that I don't see it being beneficial for them. Over in the National League, obviously we have the Dodgers with the best record in baseball. The Cubs and the Braves are kind of next in those top divisions. But again, it's a tight race in the National League, tighter than the American League.
It is so tight. I mean, you look all the way down to the Giants, who are 5.5 games out of the wild card. So you have, underneath that, the Padres are still only 8.5 games out, which is almost as close as the Red Sox are.
Mm-hmm.
The Reds, 7.5. I don't see the Padres or the Reds, or even for that matter, the Giants and the Diamondbacks gaining ground on the teams up ahead of them. Right now we have the Nationals sitting 2 games up on the Cardinals. The Cardinals and the Nationals hold the 2 wild card spots. This damn Mets team, man. I mean, just for the sake of argument, like, the Mets have been playing well. They have been playing well since trade deadline, and we all questioned what the hell they were doing, and it's
paid off, definitely.
I'm still going to say they're not making the playoffs.
I'm going to agree with that. Just from a front office organizational standpoint, I don't feel like they're worthy of it.
To me, they don't have enough. This damn Nationals team, man, too, they just won't go away.
Yeah, the Nationals, I mean, are definitely, the Brewers aren't somebody to sleep on.
No.
It's just hard in the NL Central. It's so close there that you can almost see, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like
the Brewers are 4 games out of first place. The Cardinals, I'm for sure going to give the Cardinals the nod in the wild card. Mm-hmm. I'm not as eager to give it to the Nationals, though. I'm going to lean towards the Phillies. Bryce Harper's been getting hot lately. Starting rotation has been starting to play a little bit better. I was a huge fan of them at the beginning of the year. They're 2.5 games out from Washington right now, but they have to play each other a few more times this year, or at least one more time this year.
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And Bryce Harper is one of my favorite players just from his grit aspect. You know what I mean? It's like he will bear down and do everything he can to win these games because he knows what Philly has done for him to get him there, and he knows that it's like, man, I got to prove that we're gonna make a push.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna throw in the towel. So, yeah, I would agree with you on that.
And I look at the rest of their schedule going forward. They have Miami, Pittsburgh, Mets, Cincinnati, Mets, Braves for 4 games, Boston for 2 games. Braves, Cleveland. Oh, it's going to come down to it. They got Washington, 5-game series?
5-game series?
Must be a rain delay. So it's going to come down to either the Nationals or the Phillies.
That's going to be a fun last series. That's a playoff series right there.
Yeah, they play each other 5 times at the end of the year.
Man.
Damn.
That'll come down to it. That'll be exciting.
I was like, damn, am I reading this right? It's 5 games. Monday, Tuesday, doubleheader Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Man.
And then they finish off with the Marlins. So I'm still going to say the Phillies, but Nationals or Phillies.
I agree with that. I think that's a good assessment. And I agree with you on the Mets falling apart, or at least, not finishing strong.
Just not having enough. I don't see enough from them to really solidify themselves as a playoff team this year. And I mean, I do applaud their front office for kind of making a fool out of everybody that's been hating on him. Pete Alonso's been having a fantastic year. they've kind of figured it out on the pitching aspect of things. I'm still not overly impressed with their lineup from top to bottom, but you look at the last, the series they have going. They have finishing up Cleveland right now. They have Atlanta. They have Chicago. They have Philly. They have Washington. They have Philly. Those are some tough series. When you think about it, you got to win. I mean, they already won the series against Cleveland. You got to win at least 3 out of the next 5, and those are all teams that are pushing for a playoff spot. And then you get down, they have Arizona, then they have the Dodgers, and they have the Rockies. So it's like you can't nap on any of those teams at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So just based off of strength of schedule, I would say the Phillies or the Nationals.
Okay. Well, just to put this in, put these numbers out there just for, whatever namesake,
This
that
is your
kind of
Vegas
thing.
odds thing?
No. This is just a Fangraphs percent to win the wild card, like the wild card game.
Okay.
The Cardinals have a 21% chance, and the Nationals have a 14% chance.
Who's next?
The Mets have a 46% chance.
For real?
Yeah.
They have the Mets at 46?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the most?
Yeah.
Who's the least?
I mean, the least would be
Well, I'm sorry, out of contending teams.
out of contending teams. Phillies at 12.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's hope we can prove Fangraphs wrong.
Or I guess the Brewers, maybe, if you consider them at 8.
Yeah, that's tough. They have a hard schedule.
Yeah, they have a hard schedule, so, I mean, that kind of puts me out on them.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Well, in other sports news, the NFL season is, I think it's 14 days out.
Yeah.
2 weeks out, so that's an exciting time. We have our fantasy football draft on Sunday.
Yep.
That should be good. Finally, we have a 10-man league.
Yeah, man.
Ready to go?
I'm excited. It's going to hopefully be pretty competitive. Hopefully I get a good draft in.
Yeah, so where are you hoping to draft? Where's your favorite position
I love
to draft?
drafting. Honestly, if I could draft 8th out of 10th, that'd be perfect for me.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the back half.
Yeah, I like the back half because then you get those stacked picks.
Mm-hmm.
I hate picking first. I hate waiting that long to get your next pick in. It doesn't hurt you as much in the middle rounds, but it hurts you at the top.
Mm-hmm. It hurts you early on.
Yeah.
If you're in the back half, you get those top 2 back-to-back. It's like that, you're grabbing a lot.
You get
there.
the first player that everybody else slept on, and then you get your true pick in. That's what I like the most about it, is that you get that, all right, who do I want to draft in the second round? You can get them right away, or who was a first rounder that kind of went off into the second round. In that first round, there's going to be players, Ezekiel Elliott, Melvin Gordon, things like that, who
Todd Gurley's falling hard.
Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell. There's players out there that, I don't know if you want to waste first round pick on them, but they'll be available for you to draft.
Yeah.
Especially if you're getting
in the
back-to-backs.
middle second round. Yeah. Because, this draft's hard in the sense of you're going to get those top guys if you have the top 3 picks, but that second round, you might have to reach for a Pat Mahomes. You know what I mean? You might have to reach for a second-tier wide receiver because, there's only a handful of really wide receiver ones out right now.
That's my one goal this year, is to not reach for a quarterback. I feel like I do it every year.
It's hard, though, because it's quarterback, tight end, and I feel like even defense this year. It's there is a definitive difference between the number 1 and the number 2.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's those are points on the board.
Even you can't, Aaron Rodgers has gone first for how many years now?
Mm-hmm.
From Pat Mahomes, who is the next quarterback that you're drafting? You know what I mean? Carson Wentz? Okay, but he's hurt all the time.
Yeah.
Is it Tom Brady? All right, well, everybody's down on him this year.
Well, I'm high on Deshaun Watson, so he's probably my number 2.
He'd be a guy. Baker Mayfield.
Baker, yeah.
He'll put up numbers for sure.
Yeah.
It's tough. There's a huge drop-off between Patrick Mahomes and whoever the hell you want to draft next.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's tough.
Especially, it's Pat Mahomes is so much better looking of an option now because Tyreek Hill didn't have that whole suspension, all that kind of shit. And it's that sucks from a personal standpoint,
but it's
but
great
fantasy
from a fantasy standpoint.
It's hard to.
What is it? all bullshit goes out the window in fantasy.
Oh yeah,
All bullshit.
I don't care.
Doesn't matter what you did or who
Yeah.
you did it to.
You murdered somebody. I don't care. Are
Yeah.
you playing this week? You know,
Aaron
like,
Hernandez still on the list out there? Oh shit, he's dead now.
Oh.
Can't do that one.
oh,
I
was
did that
tough.
one year where like after he got arrested, I was like, how come I can't draft Aaron Hernandez? I like typed it on the feed and they're like, dude.
Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, even still, it's like once fantasy starts, I don't care what you did, dude. Put
Yeah.
up points for me.
Yeah, put up points. I had
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill last year. Put up lots of
He was a
points
good
on him.
option.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we kind of got over our top picks for certain things.
Mhm.
Do you have any sleepers this year?
I got one.
Okay, who's
I'm
your?
a little hesitant to share it with you because of what you just said, but I'm going to share it with you anyways. Dante Pettis from the 49ers.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
So-
that is a very good one.
So 27 receptions last year with a backup quarterback, 467 yards. He averaged 17.3 yards per catch.
Mhm.
Out of those 27 catches, he had 5 touchdowns.
I had Pettis on my back half of the season.
So-
I had picked him up.
So if you look at and obviously Garoppolo's back. He had that terrible first game.
Yep.
With against the Broncos where he put up a 0.0 QBR. If he's not the guy, they got Mullins back there. They have Beathard.
Mhm.
They have other options to get this dude the ball. But when I look at their starting roster, like Marquise Goodwin, who's the other dude? Kendrick Bourne, Jordan Matthews, Deebo Samuel, Trent Taylor, like a bunch of nobodies. This dude has the ability to be the go-to guy. And if not the go-to guy, at least somebody that's going to put up good numbers each week in, week out.
Uh-huh. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a guy that's on the fringe. My sleeper, I don't really know if people consider him a sleeper. I just don't think he's going to be. I just put sleeper as like I don't think people are going to be as high on him as I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Robby Anderson for the Jets. The
Yeah.
Jets wide receiver.
Yep.
He was Sam Darnold's like number one last year. I think a lot of like fantasy experts or whatever are real high on Darnold to have a good season this year. And I kind of see Robby Anderson being, that gold on a shit team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their defense is stacked. They're going to get more opportunities this year. I could definitely see Robby Anderson putting out a better year than he has in the past. Another dude to look out for, too, in that wide receiving corps is James Washington with the Steelers.
Yes.
So with Antonio Brown being gone, James Washington played for Oklahoma State. And to me, he was very underrated coming out in the draft. He almost broke all of Des Bryant's and all of Justin Blackman's records with Oklahoma State. And the dude's phenomenal. And he's going to get a lot of good looks with Juju Smith-Schuster being the go-to guy now and them having James Conner. He's the other guy that probably sits a little bit higher on the board than Dante Pettis, but somebody that you definitely want to give a look to because if Ben Roethlisberger does anything well, he shares the wealth.
Yeah, I
They
agree.
don't have one player on that team that puts up good fantasy numbers. They have 3 or 4.
And I can see him having a blowout year just because they're going to give him a lot of looks.
Mhm.
Not saying that his catch or his looks to completion ratio or whatever the term is going to be high, but in fantasy that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I just see them being like, you're our outside guy, you're a deep threat, you can run a clean route, we're going to get you the ball a lot.
Yeah. As far as like because we've been kind of on this wide receiver kick, as far as like wide receivers to look out for, I would probably say steer clear of Connor Kupp for now.
Yes.
Coming off injury,
Mhm.
not sure what he's going to be looking like. Not sure what that offense
Not
is
sure
going to
what
look like.
the Rams are going to look
And
like.
then I don't say this with like he's going to have a bad year, but Mike Williams from the Chargers, I don't see him putting out the same production he did last year as far as touchdowns.
I agree.
Not because of the player that he is, but because Hunter Henry's back.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Hunter Henry's back. He's going to take a lot of red zone
They
looks.
just re-signed Dontrell Inman.
Yeah.
So a player that's familiar with that offense.
Mhm.
And Mike Williams is still probably going to put up similar yards. He's still going to be a big play person. But when it comes to a wide receiver that's not high volume, it has to be touchdowns.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the dude went crazy last year. I think he had like 8 touchdowns or...
Yeah, he had
or
like
10. He had 10 touchdowns last year.
He had like that one game where he had 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't really see that happening again,
Yeah.
or I don't see him getting a lot of
He's
those
going to
looks.
be a
but-
boom or bust week in and week out. He's definitely somebody to keep on your bench for sure. I mean,
Mhm.
Keenan Allen's had injury issues his entire career. Been lucky with him the last couple. But, I mean, as far as a player, like the numbers that he put up last year, I think it was, 60. 100 something, 140 points or something like that. 140 fantasy points for the entire season.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see that happening again.
Yeah, I agree. And, it's a great point is like when you draft, you have to look at the other elements on the board. You know what I mean? Like the team, who are they getting back?
He had a big year because they went more wide receivers. They're going to go more
and because they didn't have Hunter Henry.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Phillip Rivers has always been a tight end guy.
So, obviously, Hunter Henry went out with a torn ACL last year. If Hunter Henry comes off to a slow start this year, obviously somebody that you want to have on your bench, Mike Williams for sure, because he will be that not third down guy, but that, goal line guy that Phillip Rivers looks for. But just be a little bit more weary.
Yeah. My last guy of a potential sleeper, somebody you might want to look for later in the draft to just like bolster up your bye week kind of thing is Ronald Jones, the running back for the Bucs.
Yeah.
I think
got off to a slow start
last year. Peyton Barber's the only guy he has to beat. It's like that's an easy competition. Bruce Arians is over there now. He loves to run the ball. I think that he could have a good season, or at least a good option.
Darius Geis is the other one that, I don't know if I quite put him on a sleeper because I don't know how he's recovering from his torn ACL, but a guy to kind of keep your eye out on the waiver wire for. Not somebody that I'm going to draft personally, but somebody to keep your eye out on the waiver wire for sure.
My last guy that I'm kind of high on, and I shouldn't be because I need to steer clear of these guys, is Ito Smith, the Falcons backup running back. Like Devontae
Adams.
Adams.
Away from those Falcons players, man.
You gotta. Every year I get
you always
sucked
have the
into
wrong
it.
One.
I always get sucked into it, dude. I always go Devontae Freeman and he screws me over.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, it's hard to say that he's gonna get a good option, but they've been a running back by committee for so long that I find it hard for them to move away from that.
Absolutely.
So, Tevin Coleman no longer. Ito Smith could fill that void.
So, what are your thoughts on Derek Carr this year?
I mean, I think he has a lot of options. You know what I mean, from a weapon standpoint. But I love watching Hard Knocks.
Yeah. Seeing
that inside track and all that stuff. That offense in the system that John Gruden has over there, it's either it's going to work or it's not. And it's hard to say that he's going to do good for the full season. I think if you get him early on, he'll probably do really well because, it's like that offense like the Wildcat, where they came out and it worked really well and it was a huge gain for everybody, but it's going to get figured out. And I think that's going to be the problem with Derek Carr.
Yeah.
So, why are you high on him? Or?
No.
I mean, I think he could do it early.
I think he's going to have a plus year.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the dude didn't do it with Amari Cooper. Like, he made Amari Cooper look bad. And then we saw Amari Cooper go to Dallas, and he looked great.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's really hard to sit there and be like, Derek, it was the offense's problem. It wasn't Derek Carr's problem. It's like, all right, so we're going to say that John Gruden's going to put all the blame onto Amari Cooper and, the other wide receivers. So they bring in Terrell Williams from the Chargers. They bring in Antonio Brown from the Steelers. And now Derek Carr is going to click.
Well, I say that he's going to have a better season early on because of the things that they're saying
that he has now.
Well, not only from the weapon standpoint, but every single week, John Gruden's like, hey, is the system working for you? Do you understand? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like they've obviously implemented a new system. They're not releasing what it is, but
for him to succeed.
Yeah.
So it just comes up to him, and that's the thing. Is like as a betting person, I'm not betting on him winning.
Yeah.
But like you said, I do think that he'll have a plus year as far as what he produced last year.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. So yeah, we talked about on the Raiders with the weapons that Derek Carr has. Do you think Antonio Brown's even going to play this season? Like,
He'll play. But the dude,
my thing with him, right, is he's like, these new helmets are blocking my vision. Dude, you practice with a strobe light. Like, you practice without seeing. So shouldn't this helmet not be a problem for you? I get it. It makes it a little bit harder and a little bit more challenging, but at the same time, that's how you practice. You practice like that.
Yeah.
So in reality, you should be able to go out there fucking almost blindfolded.
Yeah, I mean,
and be able to
honestly,
do good.
Like, it's so diva-ish of him.
And I just don't understand the diva. Shouldn't the diva be more or less like, you give me whatever and I'll kick ass?
Yeah,
That's what I thought his response would be.
I'll
Not
kick
with
your
like,
ass in a freaking pigskin
Yeah.
helmet. Like,
you can't stop me even if I was
Yeah.
wearing like, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's a little bit ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. He needs to get back on the field, and I think that will also lead to Derek Carr's success or
yeah,
failure.
for sure.
All right, so we had Baker Mayfield
So he
getting attacked.
So Baker Mayfield kind of allegedly went after Daniel Jones in his GQ interview, and he said, "I cannot believe the Giants took Daniel Jones. Blows my mind. Some people overthink it. That's where people go wrong. They forget you've got to win." So the dude's not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, first and foremost, if you dislike what this guy says, maybe football's not the sport for you. But when Baker Mayfield was drafted number 1 overall, I questioned it because for years and years we've been looking at NFL teams and the way that they analyze quarterbacks and what that produces into the NFL. They look, 6'4", the ability to move out of the pocket. Are they the prototypical quarterback that the NFL is looking for? How many times that worked out? Christian Ponder, Blaine Gabbert, not frequently.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, I mean, this dude plays with a severe chip on his shoulder. And that dude has won at every single level that he has played at. Obviously, the Browns didn't have a winning record last year, but from a Browns standpoint,
It was a winning season
that
for
was a
them.
winning season for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he produced more with the Browns in, the 3/4 of a season that he played, or close to 3/4 of a season that he played, than they have in the last 3 years. So he's not wrong. My only issue with it, is when he came out and kind of re-solidified what he said, was like he blaming like the media for it. And
because he said that it was like he thought it was off the record or whatever.
yeah, so he's like, reporters and media will do anything to come up with a clickbait story. Heard nothing but good things and wish nothing but the best for Daniel. It's like, first of all, it's not the media's fault. Like, you know who you interviewed with, you know what you said.
And this guy did it last year with OBJ.
Yeah.
Like, he did the same thing to him.
It's not like, and I'm not blaming like Baker Mayfield for this, but it's not the entire media's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's a lot of reporters out there that, want to go get a story. But there's also some really good reporters out there that have really good relationships with players that know when and when not to say certain things, or when they have permission to say things. I mean, say what you want about Stephen A. Smith, as far as his personality goes, but like, the dude has a relationship with a lot of NBA players.
Yeah.
And he knows when to cross lines and when not to cross lines, and that, things that he says on the record can, he knows the relationship he has, and he knows he can say that. So that was like my only like little hiccup with it, is like, you have to learn to appreciate some individuals in the media because they're part of the reason that you're getting paid.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't have a problem with what he said because everybody thought it. Everybody thought,
Fuck yeah.
like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Everybody thought that.
And that's
so
he didn't say anything against Daniel Jones as a player.
no.
He said 6th overall pick, or not, but this is kind of where I'm getting into what he's saying. 6th overall pick, you have a player that hasn't shown the ability to win in college.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but played in like he was at Duke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not in like
And
a
if
Big
a-
Ten. He's not an SEC.
If a
SEC
player
team. Like, he's
out
not.
of Duke is coming into the NFL
Yeah.
and a 1st-round pick, at least one thing they should have is wins.
Yes.
At least one thing.
At least, yes. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I do like that he followed it up with saying like, "Hey, listen, I'm not trying to attack this guy, and I didn't know, you know what I mean? This was misconstrued the way I said it and the way I meant it. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that part of
His
it.
retract on the Daniel Jones part was spot on.
That's what I mean. I
yeah.
like that part because it's
Yeah.
like I'm not trying to attack
He's a
the
colleague.
player.
He's a colleague. He's
Exactly.
he's like, it's nothing personal to that person.
Exactly.
No.
I'm not attacking the player. I'm just questioning the organizational thought.
Yeah. No.
And I don't have a problem with that because, like you said, you were skeptical of Baker when he got drafted
Oh, yeah.
number 1. Well, he went through that. Like,
Yeah.
he went through the same thing. So I have no problem with him questioning it as well.
Absolutely.
Like,
I'm done questioning Baker Mayfield as
No.
a In fact, if you like, let's say you're a GM of a team right now, do you want a player like Baker Mayfield who goes out and says this stuff, or do you want a player like Jimmy Garoppolo who says it is what it is?
Yeah.
You know, we learn, we move on. No, I want a player that has that emotion. And people say like, oh, well, emotion's not good from a quarterback position. Tom Brady, watch him on the sideline any Sunday. Phillip Rivers, watch him on the sideline any Sunday. In practice, watch him, you know. Saying fire.
Aaron Rodgers, the same.
Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. Like we're talking about Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I don't know much about Ben Roethlisberger on a practice level standpoint or a game level standpoint. He seems pretty even keel. But like Baker Mayfield plays like he wants nothing more than to beat you.
Yeah.
And he's not going to stop until he beats you.
And it's not one of those things where it's like he wants to beat you because he has a grudge. He wants to beat you because he wants to be the best.
Exactly.
Like, I commend the guys that, you know, get drafted later on and they're like, there was 32 teams that, or 31 teams that missed on me, that had a chance on me. So I'm going to see them, you know, whenever, blah,
Wayne
blah.
Haskins did this past year.
Like, I have no problems with the guys saying that. But the thing with Baker is he didn't say it because he's just like, I just want to be better than you. I could have gone to any of you guys and made you better. I have nothing against you, but I'm going to be better than you.
Yeah. Well, and it's really funny, too, because like everybody's like, well, Baker Mayfield got drafted #1 overall. What chip does he have? The chip is that the Browns literally sat there and dangled that pick for several months and let anybody come in. It's like, if you want to pay us a crap ton, because there was a lot of quarterbacks that came out that year. Sam Darnold, Lamar Jackson.
No, there's a guy on the Broncos, too. They're like backup. He was drafted that. I don't know. I forget his name.
Yeah, I can't remember. But
yeah.
Yeah, so lots of other quarterbacks. And they dangled it there. And nobody bit. So he went to the Browns, and the Browns were like, this is the guy that we want. So, I mean, we felt we were going to get him anyways. So
yeah, we just wanted to see if there's anything better. Yeah. And that's, I have no problem with what he said, and I have no problem with him going after, like, going after the organization.
There should be more players. Josh Allen, that was a guy at Bills.
Oh, there you go.
Josh Allen.
Oh, the other guy was from this year. Later.
Lamar Jackson.
But yeah, I mean, I have no problem with it. I do like that he did apologize to Daniel Jones to let him know, like, hey, man, nothing personal, and it was nothing against you.
Josh Rosen was the other guy. No, absolutely.
You know, it's like, because it's not against him. He's not saying, like, who the hell is this guy? But at the same time, Baker is Baker.
Yeah.
Like, he is going to be who he is.
And Josh Rosen was the guy last year that was like, well, there was 9 other teams that, you know, dropped the ball. They didn't pick me. Josh Rosen got traded in his first year.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure.
In his first year.
Yeah.
Name one other first-round
I couldn't
draft pick quarterback that got traded like less than 1 year into being on that team. Well, I guess exactly 1 year into being on that team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like you said, I have no issues with it. In fact, there should be more quarterbacks like out there like Baker Mayfield, because the thing is with Baker Mayfield, whether or not he succeeds as an NFL quarterback, whether or not we talk about him as a Hall of Famer in the future, as a Super Bowl champion, as a, you know, league leading quarterback or MVP candidate, he is going to breed winners around him.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't have the talent to get that team to the next level, the next person coming up behind him is going to have to work.
Yeah.
And this dude has shown nothing but work ethic since he got into football. I mean, we're talking about a dude that started off his college career at Texas Tech as a walk-on. And then transferred to Oklahoma. Sat out, came back and won the Heisman.
Yeah.
He was a walk-on. That means out of high school, nobody wanted him. Like, I want that guy on my team.
Yeah.
And I, you know, public service announcement, like, I apologize to Baker Mayfield. I never said that he wasn't the first-round quarterback. I said I wouldn't take him first overall. Because the Browns had 1st and 4. That's the only reason. Yeah, 1 and 4, I feel like they could have got him at 4. But outside of that, phenomenal player. Great story. Great player. You know, there's not a whole lot of, you know, not just quarterbacks, players out there that play with that chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to say even, like, back in the day to be like, I knew Baker was going to be this player. Like, I knew that he was going to be, you know, living up to this, like, #1 hype, blah, blah, blah. Because you don't know with the Browns. Like, you didn't know.
That's the thing. It's the Browns. The dude's
Yeah.
6'1", he weighs 215 pounds. I mean, he's not a
You
prototypical
saw,
quarterback.
you saw the talent and the work ethic he had, but still, you didn't know with the Browns. You didn't know with the system. You
You
can't.
got to win, and
Yeah.
he's shown that he has the ability to do that. And the way that he has carried himself this offseason
Mhm.
as a second-year quarterback, like he's been in the league for 5 years,
Yeah.
I'm beyond impressed.
I love it.
So, I mean, don't hate on the media because they're one of the reasons you get paid.
Mhm.
You know, if nobody's reporting these stories, nobody's watching football games.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so just be wary of who you're interviewing with. But I did appreciate that he went back and was like, "This is not a shot at Daniel Jones."
Yeah.
Daniel Jones looked great in his first appearance too.
And I'm not gonna lie, dude. I kind of love that the Browns are taking shots at the Giants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? OBJ, they sent me here because they thought I was gonna die here. You know what I mean? Like he said that about the Giants. It's
Yeah.
like I love that they're going against the Giants, like creating a little rivalry. I have
Absolutely.
no problem with that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Got anything else for football?
Nah, man. Nothing. Melvin Gordon's still not signed, so that's kind of a bummer. Derwin James is going to be out 2 to 3 months. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
unfortunate.
I do like that where the Chargers are as far as, you know, they went out and they got oh man, the dude from the Panthers. What's his name? Linebacker.
I don't know.
I'm totally blanking on him. Veteran guy. So I don't think that losing Derwin James for that long is going to be like make or break for this team. Obviously, it hurts them, but I feel like they have enough pieces on the defensive side of the ball now to be able to hold off until he gets back.
Well, with Brandon out, it was his week to do stat of the day, but I got it instead.
All right, well, let's see if you can do as good as you did last week.
Thank you. That was a good one last week.
Stat of the day, stat of the day, dabba-dooba-doo, stat of the day, stat of the day. Here comes that what? Stat of the day. Bop!
My one this week is baseball related. It is let me start off this way. Who is your favorite baseball player?
Right now or all
ever?
time?
Ever.
I mean, Tony Gwynn.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that.
Yeah.
I love Tony Gwynn. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. If I'm not picking a Padre.
Yeah. Okay. Mine's Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Like, I love Derek Jeter. I think he's like 5-foot player, amazing, face of baseball overall. But this week, Mike Trout beat or surpassed Derek Jeter in career WAR. He is now at a 72.5 career win above replacement.
Over Derek Jeter?
Yeah. I think Derek Jeter was a 72.
I get it. Like, he plays on the Angels. The Angels are trash. And Derek Jeter didn't sit out a lot of games.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, the Angels aren't trash, but, like, who the hell's playing it behind Mike Trout?
Yeah. But still, 72 games. You know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Like, in a career, the Angels would have lost 72 and a half games without him playing.
Damn.
Like, that's incredible. And, Mike Trout, he's having like a quiet season, but he's only the 8th player in Major League history to have 120 runs, RBIs, and walks in the same season. The only other players, Barry Bonds, Jeff Bagwell, Mark McGwire, Mickey Mantle, Ted Williams, Lou Gehrig, and Babe Ruth.
Yeah, he's already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and he's the 10th player ever with 350 total bases and 120 walks.
Dude, and he's hit more home runs this year than he has ever before. He's got 42.
42, yeah.
He's got 7 more than the next person. He's tied with Cody Bellinger for the best in baseball. The only thing that's down this year is his batting average.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's just ridiculous. He's also hit 20 home runs in 38 games this season, which is the fewest games needed for 20 home runs.
Jesus.
So, the dude is just a highlight reel in front of our eyes. Yeah. He's also the first American League player with 8 straight seasons of 25 home runs and 10 steals.
Dude, I have to pull up his stats now because this is I know, but
yeah. Since he came into the league in 2012, he's led in some category, whether it be stolen bases, walks, RBIs, OPS plus. Like every single
He's
season, he's
296 this
led.
year. Like, what the fuck?
This year, he leads he leads baseball in home runs, walks, on base percentage plus, and slugging percentage. Like, that's ridiculous. Like,
He's having a down year on stolen bases too.
but I mean,
But,
even
I mean,
still, to
I mean,
have all these other
yeah.
numbers, like, that's just nitpicking at that point.
I know.
Yeah.
Dang.
I would think that he is in the talks for best hitters in baseball.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just, the numbers are just ridiculous, and it's fun to see.
I'm like, he had 98 RBIs this year, which is more than he's had the last 2 years. He's on pace to have the most RBIs this year than he's ever had in his career. His slugging percentage is at 660 right now. His OPS is at 1.1. It's freaking insane. And his WAR this year is at 8.3.
Yeah.
Last year was at 10.2, but we're not done yet.
He has passed 38 Hall of Famers in WAR this season.
Jeez.
You know, and Tony Gwynn is on that list.
Yeah.
And he could pass 7 more, including like Reggie Jackson. So, I mean, this dude's just on a tear for a career.
My God.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Tatis could be next.
Hope so.
Hope
man.
so.
I hope so.
Well, everybody, we are the Three Amigos and a podcast. We're down in Amigo, but we will be back to full strength next week.
We'll get to talk about our fantasy football draft.
Yes,
How we
sir.
thought we did.
Yep. Find us under 3A. Recommend us to somebody. That's your homework for this week. And we will be back next week. Thank you.
See you guys.